So I also am a disability support worker. So on Mondays I work with this beautiful lady. She's 51 now, and I've been working with her for almost 2 years. So she was kind of like my little test, I guess, to see. So she had major blockages throughout her entire spine. She's got tumours in the meninges, so in C1, 2 and C5, 6, and also in her brain as well. At the age of 7, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Um, and it was really interesting to hear her story because she'd suffered quite a big trauma. You know, we've got the capital T traumas and the small t traumas. So she had a big trauma where she unexpectedly lost a loved one. And then after that, she got sick with flu-like symptoms. And then she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I was like, oh, isn't that really interesting how a traumatic experience can impact on the body? So now, you know, she's got peripheral neuropathy that's come from that diabetes. She's had half a foot amputated and lots of other issues, you know, depression, anxiety. And she would sleep for pretty much my entire shift. So she would sleep for up to 16 hours most days and only rise for when we would get her out of bed at, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And she would have one meal a day. She would not drink any water. She was on, like, I can't even tell you the number of medications she was taking. So I started working with her. Her first session, she just laid in bed all day, and I just come back in and just keep going on the access points. And she woke up and she's like, I don't even know who I am. Something has changed. And I was like, I worked on you all day while you were asleep. So after we got through a lot of these major blockages, she's no longer on a lot of medications. So we've eliminated 7 medications from her list.
Wow.
Amazing, right? She used to be on a really heavy opioid pain patch. So she was on a 40 milligram Norspan patch. She's now down to micrograms, sorry. She's now down to 25 micrograms, which is awesome. She no longer takes Lyrica, and that's a nerve blocker. So she was on 300 milligrams twice a day. She doesn't take that anymore. Super amazing. 2 cardiac medications have been removed, so blood pressure's decreased. She's no longer taking her Lasix, so that's for fluid retention. So fluid has gone. She's lost 10 kilos just through spinal flow.
Wow.
And so if anyone's a diabetic listening to this, they'll fully understand. So they take a blood test called a HbA1c, and that gives you an average of what your blood sugars have been over, say, a 3 or 4 month period. So from the age of 7, she was always 9 and above. It's now dropped to 7, which is almost considered fairly normal and regulated for a HbA1c.
Wow.
Amazing. So what's also super cool is that if we take her out for shopping, she would have to use a wheelchair. And around the house, or if it was just a short distance walk, she would use a 4-wheelie walker. She doesn't use them anymore. She did have 35 falls in 2 weeks over Christmas. Of, what are we in now, 22. So I've been really honing in on this for 12 months. She's had 2 falls in the last 14 months.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know.
Oh.
And, you know, she's just said to me,
just actually completely changing this woman's life.
Yeah. And she's doing training now as well. So we train her functionally, doing functional patterns training. She does that twice a week. This is a lady that spent like 16 hours a day in bed and would fall asleep on the car rides. And now she's up boxing, rowing, you know, and she said to me, Jodie, I just feel like somebody has just lifted the veil and life is just so much clearer, not to mention everything else that she's feeling, you know, just, yeah, incredible changes. And she's worked so very hard as well. So, yeah, Spinal Flow has literally changed her life.
But really, and you to actually start working and saying, you know what, we're going to do that. It's like the confidence and certainty that you have about
Yeah.
the body healing. And spinal flow is just the modality, but it's really about connecting to the wisdom in her body that she's always had, that's always been. But then those big traumas that have come in, and the diagnosis has started, but to start moving her back towards health. I mean, I'm not going to say it's insane, because it's what we do all day, is witness these incredible miracles. But what's insane is that her world was in bed and now she's out. I mean, that's beautiful. Thank you for what you do. It's amazing.
And the other thing is that she'd never drink water. So she's drinking up to, you know, sometimes 1.5 litres of water a day now. She actually craves water now. And that's what we need for new cell growth too. So, you know, we're due to have some MRI scans next month to look at those tumours. Fingers are crossed. But, you know, we never know how innately wise the body is, hey, until we start doing this work.